Now I want to deal with something else that will level up our UI in our website here and makes it beautiful. So, which is like a letter effect. As we navigate to sections, I wanted to slowly reveal them, kind of is like feeding them. This feature called reveal on scroll. If you got confused a bit, don't worry, once we implemented this new feature, you will understand what we just did. As I'm explaining, while I'm coding line by line this amazing feature. So let's do it right now. Back to our VS Code here, and the way that I'm gonna do it, I will create a new component inside our UI folder here, and this component simply we can name it reveal on scroll.gsx. Nice. Let's generate our component here with this snippet RFC. Pretty good. And here I will get like the children here from our props, and because we can specify which part of the website we want to reveal as we are scrolling by. So inside over here, we are returning the div, and simply this div just gonna show below the children component that it's going to be wrapped by the reveal on scroll component later on our other components. This component simply it's gonna be like a wrapper component, and the div that we display over here, or the section we are going to display over here, it's like purely for us to determine if we want to like reveal the information or not, so that we can make the animation on scrolling down. So to do that, we are going to use something called useRef, and this useRef is like a React feature or a function. It allows us to precise values between renders, meaning like it can be used to store a mutable value that does not cause a re-render when updated. Unlike the use state, if the state changes, then it will trigger the component to re-render. And also this useRef, it can be used to access a DOM element directly. So let's see that with a real case example in our project, so you can comprehend how does this hook works and why we need it in the first place. So next step, let's pass in our div here a prop called ref, and this ref, like, it will keep tracking our div so we can detect if we are scrolling throughout this specific div. In order to do that, I'm going to create here a const variable here called, let's name it ref, and simply assign it with this amazing useRef hook. And this useRef hook, simply it will have by default the initial value of our ref here will be null. Next thing, I'm going to pass the ref over here inside our prop ref here, and I'm going also to add a class name to our div here. This class name won't be a Tailwind CSS related, but instead it will be an actual vanilla CSS, because I'm going to style in it this class name in the index.css later on. And you can name it whatever that you want. In my case, let's name it reveal. That's because like makes sense to our styling. Now inside our component here, which is under this useRef hook, let's run a use effect, and this user effect simply it will help us to intersect, like observe to see if the current ref is currently intersecting the specific section that we are scrolling through. So the way we are gonna do this, we will use something called inside our callback here, something called intersection observer, and simply let's assign this new API feature in our observer here variable observer. Let's add new here and enter section observer. It's publicly available already for us. It's an API that will help us to deal with this situation. Nice. Inside our intersection observer here, we will pass a callback function this callback function, it will have the argument of the entry. And this entry, simply it will give us a list, or this function, simply it will give us a list, which is the first element will be an entry. And we can put the entry here inside an array here. And I can use the entry to check inside our callback here if the entry here is intersecting. If it is, then we can reveal whatever inside this component. Reveal on scroll here, that we are going to specify later on as a wrapper component. So if it is, which is our condition true here, is intersecting, then we are going to add a class name to this specific item. We can do that simply with this amazing ref dot current. So he will access the value of this div here element. So is keep tracking that by this prop. You remember it, and simply he will store it in this ref dot current. Let's add the class list here and add also. So it will add a class name on another class name to our div here, and you can name it whatever you want. In my case, I will make it visible here, so that will make sense to our styles also. And below that, we wanted to specify the threshold, and like a kind of what we are checking for the threshold of intersection. And simply here, we're going to do comma. Below it, let's add the curly braces here, which is an object, and give it the property of threshold. It will have the value of 0.2. Oops, here like a colon, not semicolon. And the second value will have the root margin. This root margin simply will have the string value here of 0 pixel, and minus 50 pixel, and the last one will be 0 pixel. Good. Then below this object here, we are going to check if ref here dot current, which is the value of our div here, we are already tracking it, the useRef hook. We will see the observer here, which is our variable that holds the whole operation here. Then we want the observer here dot observe, and we will pass with this observe here method, we will pass the ref dot current that will allows us to observe this item we are referencing to. I don't want to have any memory leaks. We want to return at the end of our use effect here, return a callback function. It's like a cleanup function for our use effect, and simply this one, it will return our observer dot disconnect. Simply like that, it will stop observing for that ref. So all of this code here is gonna allow us to call to our index.css and add some styles there. And we wanted to add the styles of these two specific classes, which is the reveal and the visible. Back to our index.css, and here simply let's call our reveal, and let's give it the opacity at the beginning here of 0 once he starts revealing, and we want some transform here, translate, which is will revealing from the top of the Y. Let's give it 30 pixel. You can experiment with other values and see the effects, how it's gonna be in your website later on. In my case here, I will do also the transition here to be opacity 0.7 per second here. Animation will be the ease, and we want also the transform to be 0.7 per second is good. The second one here, we want the dot reveal dot visible, And after the revealing, we want the opacity to show our section. Let's give it opacity of 1 and the transform to be 0, so we will show our section. Now this is working, but wait, how does this working? Well, simply we will wrapping around each component we want it to be revealed. In the first case, let's try that out with this up component, and here simply let's call our revealed on scroll, and all of this code here is gonna be like the child of our reveal on scroll here component. So just grab this one from the top to the bottom and drop in all of these items. Save. Now should be working. Let's see our website here and let's refresh. Glad to have you here. And here we go. It's like not too much, but let me change the styling here in the index and let's make this one, for example, 7 seconds. And you can see the effect immediately better. Let's refresh again. We have the welcome screen here, animation, and here we go. Beautiful. It's too slow to giving our opacity here to our component, but that's beautiful. Just try here the style to be 2 seconds and here also to be 2 seconds. And when we scroll down, it will detect that I'm now in the about me section and slowly it will reveal it here. So let me do the same for our other components, and you can do it in other way here, like in the app.jsx for our home, for example. Let's adjust wrap our home component here with this reveal on scroll component, and let's reveal it with its waves animation. Nice. And the rest of the component, which is the projects and the contact, we can do it like we just did with the about. Just call here the reveal on scroll. Here we go. Copy from here or cut it, and down above the section tag here, just paste it. Save. I hope it gets imported pretty good. And let's do the same with the contact here. Under the section, let's call our component reveal on scroll. Pretty good. It's imported automatically and wrapping all of our items here with this component. Good. Now let's see again and refresh our page. Glad to have you here. And let's reveal in our about, our projects here, and our contact form. Pretty good.